Once you have a good, consistent input volume, it's time for a practice run. Record 20 to 30 seconds worth of audio. Be sure your test recording includes plenty of hard consonants to determine whether you will be recording popping plosives. Once you have recorded a bit of audio, stop recording and listen to the playback. Are your hard consonants popping? If so, try backing off the microphone a little, or try talking over the microphone rather than directly into it. How's your volume? Is it too quiet or too loud? Try creating multiple test recordings until you feel comfortable with the quality of your recordings, so that you've achieved a good, clear volume while eliminating extraneous noises that may distract your listener. Now that you're ready to record your podcast, there's one other question to consider. How do you actually sound like a professional? It actually takes quite a bit to be a professional voice talent, but we can provide some tips on how you can sound as professional and polished as possible. This may seem obvious, but audio narration takes practice. Don't expect to sound like James Earl Jones your first time out. Be patient and record a lot of audio. You'll find that you naturally improve over time with a bit of practice. The glottal fry can occur when a speaker doesn't push enough air through his or her voice box to produce a clear tone. Your vocal cords vibrate in order to produce sound. When you don't push enough air through your voice box, this vibration can sound like an unpleasant rattling sound. This happens most frequently at the end of a spoken sentence. To avoid the glottal fry, make sure that you speak clearly and distinctly, and with plenty of volume, and breathe for the entire sentence. Don't trail off at the end of your sentence, or you may produce a subtle but distracting glottal fry. Try standing while recording. A standing position can open your diaphragm and help push plenty of air through your voice box to create a clear, natural tone. Try this experiment. Be sure your mouth is in an O shape and that the back of your mouth, near your throat, is wide open. Pretend you're holding a pear in your mouth, and the large end of the pear is in the back of your mouth. Open the back of your mouth and your throat to accommodate the pear. Now, try saying, "ah" for 5 to 10 seconds. Now, while you're saying "ah," pinch and release your nose. If your throat and mouth are wide open, pinching your nose should have little effect on your tone. Now try this. With your mouth narrower and throat narrower, say "ee." Now try pinching and releasing your nose while saying "ee." Pinching your nose will likely have a significant effect on your sound, much more significant than your open mouth and throat "ah" sound. So what accounts for this difference? When you speak, your tone and vibration can be focused at certain parts of your body, from your chest, to your throat and mouth, to your nose. Your goal is to keep your voice in your mouth and throat and out of your nose. This is called your head voice. Using your head voice, with your mouth and throat open and relaxed, will help produce a professional, pleasing tone. While unnecessary for informal discussions or podcasts, a prepared script can be very helpful for more formal presentations and recordings. If you plan to use a script, consider the following tips. Print your script using a large font, around 20 to 24 points. Your recording will be more relaxed and natural if you're not squinting at the 12-point font on your script. Don't allow a sentence to begin on one page of your script and end on the next. You don't want to be turning pages while you're speaking. Not only could this cause you to falter in your narration, but the sound of rustling papers can easily be caught by a good microphone. Consider using a music stand to hold your printed script, raised to eye level. You shouldn't be looking down at your script, since this will constrict your throat. Using a music stand will free your hands and help you feel more comfortable. If you must hold your script, hold it at eye level, and be very careful not to rattle the paper. Feel free to gesture or gesticulate with your hands. Even though the gestures won't show up on the recorded audio, your hands can actually help direct and relax your voice. Don't worry if you think it looks silly, it can really help. Allow for a few seconds of silence both before and after your narration. This will help you later when you edit your recording. Having a few seconds of silence can help you target and eliminate any background noise in your recording, making your final audio recording clean and professional. If you flub a sentence or phrase, don't worry. just pause and begin the phrase over again. As long as there is silence before and after your flub, you can simply delete it. And with adequate space or silence between one phrase or sentence and the next, you can always delete or add in new audio. In the old days, audio editing was a slow and difficult process. Fortunately, digital recording and editing software has greatly improved over the past few years and is now a fun and fairly quick process. Every audio editing application is different, but it's useful to learn the basics of how to edit audio. After you've finished recording your podcast, you'll probably have several audio clips on your timeline. Clips can be reordered by dragging them around. Or they can be trimmed by dragging the in and out points on either end of the clip. Most editing programs allow you to split a clip into segments using some type of razor blade tool or using a keyboard shortcut or menu option. As you listen through your recording, you can move things around and edit until your final recording is just how you like it. One of the major benefits of editing on a computer is that you can quickly remove some background noises like that of an air conditioner running in the background. Or you can add effects to your recording. Each application is a little different, but most have the same result. In Adobe Sound Booth, for example, you can literally grab the offending noise and delete it using the built-in noise print feature. GarageBand from Apple allows you to quickly add a noise reduction filter to your recording that is tailored to either male or female voices. No matter what software you're using, the possibilities are endless. Even the most exciting subjects can come across as a little boring without some music. Many editing programs come with free music and jingles that you can add to your recordings. Or you can create your own, purchase some licensed music, or find some royalty-free tunes. A little music at the beginning and end of your podcast can help your audience to pay attention, and it can breathe some life into your podcast. When your podcast is finished, it's time to export your project. Usually, podcasts are exported as MP3 or AAC files because they play on a wide variety of computers and portable devices like iPods. While you can vary the audio quality to make a file smaller, be aware of how your listeners will be playing your podcast episodes. If it's likely that they'll be listening on iPods or smartphones, you're probably safest to use a common data rate and format. Now that your podcast is finished, it's time to share it. There are a few ways to do this, and your method could vary based on your work or school environment. There are 3 basic steps to publishing your podcast: uploading your audio or video file to a web server, creating or updating an RSS feed, and advertising the availability of your podcast. First, you'll need space on a web server to hold your podcast episodes. Any basic web server will do. Just make sure that your users will be able to access your server. You may need to work with an IT professional to set up a web server to host your podcast episodes. In order for your recordings to be an actual podcast, your users will need a way to subscribe to future episodes. This is done with an RSS feed. An RSS feed is just a text file that links to each episode of your podcast series. Listeners subscribe to this file using software that automatically checks in to see if there are any new episodes. If there are, the new episodes are automatically downloaded to the listener's computer. Many modern web servers have built-in podcast features that will create an RSS file for you, as do many blogging tools, which greatly simplifies this step. Finally, it's time to advertise your podcast. You can post a link to your RSS feed on a website or blog, email the link to your intended audience, or publish the feed to the iTunes podcast directory. With the correct equipment and a little practice, it's easy to create high-quality podcasts. The techniques in this lesson will help you raise the quality of your podcasts to the next level. Remember to begin with the proper equipment and a good recording environment. Get a good recording by setting levels and testing equipment first. Avoid potential problems with a pop stopper and by training your voice to avoid the glottal fry. Take advantage of the powerful features in current audio editing software to clean up your recording and add music where appropriate. And thanks to modern technology, it's also fairly simple to share your podcasts with your listeners. Podcasts are a great way to share information, and they're particularly useful in the world of education. Now you're ready to create your own podcasts and share them with your students and with the world.